Good morning, MPC. Good morning, Presidential Spokesperson Salvador Panelo and Presidential Task Force on Media Security Undersecretary Joel Eco. Good morning, sirs.
Morning.
Opening statement.
Good morning. A pleasant morning to members of the Malacañang Press Corps. Today we have as our guest PCO Undersecretary Joel C. Eco. He is the Executive Director of the Presidential Task Force on Media Security. Let's welcome him.
Thank you, Secretary Sal Panelo, and good morning to the ladies and gentlemen of Malacañang Press Corps. I missed you. I have prepared a brief statement, opening statement, concerning the latest CPJ report, no, on the Global Impunity Index, and the second part of my presentation will be in PowerPoint. And first, I'd like to read this brief opening statement. On 29 October 2018, the Committee to Protect Journalists released its 2018 Global Impunity Index. In an interesting development, we note with optimism that the Philippines, while remaining at its 2017 ranking as fifth, was noted to have improved its status. But before we jump into the wrong conclusions, we must read the report in its entirety and consider the methodology used by the CPJ in arriving at its findings. Well, number one, the result was expected. And it covered a 10-year coverage from September 2008 to 2018. And it includes the 32 media workers killed in the Maguindanao massacre. Please take note that the CPJ reported 40. So 32 of those 40 are victims of the Maguindanao massacre. And then unsolved cases are defined by CPJ as cases where no convictions are obtained, contrary to the definition of unsolved cases in many jurisdictions around the world, including us. And their survey includes at least 5 unsolved cases in each country, automatically includes it in the list. For instance, Afghanistan was delisted last year, but that unfortunate incident in Kabul, where terrorists blew up, I think 8 journalists, no, caused the re-entry of Afghanistan into the list. Okay. And then the termination of the Mindanao massacre case will totally change the number of unsolved cases, no, for PH. And the 40 unsolved cases indicated by CPJ need to be clarified and reconciled with the PTFOM's records. So the PTFOMS, or the Presidential Task Force on Media Security, is committed to continually fight for the protection of press freedom and calls on all stakeholders to reach out and foster an atmosphere of inclusiveness and cooperation to fulfill our mandate to protect the life, liberty, and security of media workers. Because for us, failure is not an option. So we'll proceed to the PowerPoint presentation. Let's start. Okay. So today we are going to turn over to Secretary Panelo our second-year accomplishment report dated October 11, 2018. And of course, accompanying that report is our latest contribution to press freedom, which is the Handbook on Personal Security Measures for Media Practitioners. This is a product of our of a very long discussions, no, among our media member agencies and media partners in the task force, no, member agencies of the government, I mean. Next slide, please. So what I'm going to present to you now is the same, almost the same report that I presented to the Senate Committee on Public Information, led by Senator Grace Paul last August 8th. Next slide, please. Of course, the Duterte administration recognizes media's vital role for sustained developmental communications towards continued economic development and social progress. This government also recognizes that a free press is an absolute necessity in attaining the peace and prosperity we are all aspiring for. That is why on October 11, 2016, President Rodrigo Duterte signed Administrative Order Number 1, his very first administrative order, which created the Presidential Task Force on Violence Against Media Workers, also known today as the Presidential Task Force on Media Security. The first task force in Asia and possibly the world with a mandate to protect the life, liberty, and security of all media workers. So, what are the types of risks faced by media workers based on our investigations and observations? Number one is duty. So, the performance of the main functions of a journalist in the practice itself is risky. In fact, I myself was targeted for assassination in 2009 when I wrote something that hurt somebody in our province. No? So, but we were able to prepare, and the gunmen surrendered to us. That's the first level of risk. The second is advocacy. It is a relentless criticisms by a journalist, reporter against subject. It doubles the risk on the part of the media workers. And the last and the most and the highest level of risk is when one goes into a crusade. We define crusade as the crossing over to being another, such as becoming a politician, a businessman, and others. It's no longer about words against words, but swords against swords. It's no longer reporting, but actually filing of cases against subjects of reports, which puts the lives of crusading journalists at very high risks. And we have a number of cases in our hand that prove to that. No. So, what are the acts of violence against media workers, and what are the actions taken and the updates, no, on our records? So the question remains: why are journalists being killed? And these are our observations. Well, for one, I'd like to point out to you that since we were created, we were able to map, no, the incidents of killings in the Philippines. Actually, since 1986 ito, up to present. But for easier reference and following the formula of CPJ, ginawa natin from 2008 to 2018. Dati wala po niyan, smorgasbord lang. When you say media killings in the Philippines, they give you a list without telling where the incidents happened. Next slide, please. So if you'd observe, so the most vulnerable regions, we call most vulnerable, not most dangerous. Please take note of that, because even journalists in areas where incidents happened, they don't want no their regions to be called as such, as most dangerous, kasi napaka-regressive.